What's up, AfterBuzz fans? We're here breaking down Sacred Lies, the new Facebook Watch show. There's so much to discuss. We have Juvie and its many, many rules. We have Dr. Wilson and what are his intentions? I cannot wait to be breaking that down and more right after this.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome, everybody. Oh man, I am
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Sweet.
Something. It is. It really is. Welcome. Okay. What's up, AfterBuzz fans? We're here breaking down Sacred Lies. What a show. Oh my gosh, we have so much to discuss. We have Dr. Wilson and what are his intentions? We have Juvie and its many, many rules and so much more. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Oh, damn. Well, welcome, guys. Welcome to AfterBuzz. This is the Sacred Lies after show for Facebook Watch. What a show. I cannot wait to break this all down. I'm your host, Juliet. I'm here with Dakota. How are you doing, Dakota?
I am so excited. This is so exciting. Facebook and Facebook Watch. I'm super obsessed with their content and so happy to be here.
Oh, Taylor, how are you doing?
I'm doing so good. This show, I am loving it. I know there's 3 episodes and I wanted to binge the next 2 so badly, but I restrained myself and I'm proud of myself for doing so.
Evan, how you doing?
I'm hanging tough, man. It's hot out there, New kids on the block. Gotta hang tough, but good to be here. Happy to be here. Nice to see you guys.
You too.
Well, we have a really, really packed show for you guys, and we have a very, very exciting guest who is here with us. Raquel Tucker, how are you doing?
I'm awesome. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, welcome to AfterBuzz. Again, just kudos to you. This show was just really had my attention the whole way through, and some great writing there. Some just. Can you tell us a little bit about this experience of bringing this book from a written form to what we were able to see tonight?
It's been a long process. I optioned the rights to a YA novel called The Sacred Lies of Minnow Bly about 3 years ago. And I was about 20 pages in, and I fell madly in love with this character in this world, and I'd never seen anything like it. So I spent my own money to buy the option, and my agents were like, we could get you a real job. We could actually get you paid. And I just felt that I needed to make the story, and I needed to be the person to make it happen. And so we took it around to every network, and everyone was like, interesting, but no thanks. I think people were really afraid of a female protagonist with no hands, and particularly for this demographic, the grimness of the fairy tale elements, it was a lot, I think, and people weren't really sure it would work as a show. So I thought it was all over and done with and dead. I went on to go make a season of Jessica Jones, which was really super fun. I was in New York producing that show when I got the call from Facebook, and they were buying the whole show straight to series.
Dope.
And they said, "How fast can you make this thing?" And that was pretty. I mean, it was full on from that moment. We put a room together. We went straight into writing all these scripts and shooting, and we just finished shooting less than 2 months ago. And we're still in post-production right now, finishing up the last 3 episodes as we're premiering on Facebook.
Wow,
That's
that's so
amazing.
exciting. How is that different from other shows that you've worked on?
Well, they're all different. There's no one formula, especially now. TV is made in all different kinds of ways. But for instance, as an example, Jessica Jones, it took almost 2 years to make season 2. So I had, I don't know, 6 months. I mean, it's a really different experience. But I will say that we all got on board, and we really wanted the show to come out in the summer, particularly for the young adult audience that we were really trying to reach. And so we we all got our butts in gear and just made the very best show we could, and it was really exciting and actually so gratifying to make something and then be able to put it out so quickly and have people react to it so fast. It's really fun.
Right. Well, all that excitement really shows. I mean, I think it just came together so beautifully, and we're going to be breaking down just different plot points, a little bit about Dr. Wilson and this new world, leaving a cult, entering juvie, and all those rules. But before we do, guys, can you tell me a little bit about your overall thoughts as this show? This first episode is a standalone. Dakota?
Yeah, honestly, just as a standalone for this episode, as I was getting into it, I loved how very quickly you could tell kind of what it was going to be about. Sometimes with episodes of shows, you have to watch a few episodes before you really get to know what's going on. And it was very clear what was happening as soon as it started, and within like 5 minutes, I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm obsessed with the storyline, and it was very clear what was happening. We all talked about how it moved very fast, but not too fast to where you didn't know what was going on, which I loved.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think everything is just so concise, and the pacing works for it so well. This was only a half an hour, and I feel like it felt like a whole 2-hour movie, honestly, because you packed so much into it, but it never felt rushed. Like, I feel like I really was getting to know these characters. It gave me so many vibes of different shows that I love. Orange is the New Black, Dakota and I were talking about. Some Twilight in there, just with all the woodsy sort of elements, and I don't know, it's coming together really awesomely, just combining a lot of different elements, but it's working really well together.
Yeah. I just like the way you really don't know what's going on. There's a lot of mystery to it right now, and it's very subtle. I like that you see a strong female lead out of nowhere. We're in a different place, a better place with a strong lady that's going to lead, even despite the handicaps, very handicapable, like she says in the show. And it's just really good to see that strong female element in a very difficult situation at the moment. To see, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with her.
Right. I read somewhere that you guys worked with some physical disability consultants. Can you tell us a little bit about that process? How was it working with them?
Well, one in particular, her name was Christy Sita, and she's a professional dancer, and she's the same age as Elena Kemporis, who plays Minnow Bly. She came onto the show 3 weeks before production when Elena showed up, and she worked with Elena every single day, both on the physical interpretation of this character, but also on the emotional story. Christy is a dancer who lost her hand at the same age that Minnow is in our story. She lost it in a boating accident. And her whole life changed at that moment. She'd been trained to be a professional dancer, and suddenly she thought, oh my God, maybe that's not what I'm going to get to be. And instead, she is so miraculous. She's up on Facebook. You can go check out her page and see who she is, but she's this incredibly inspiring, beautiful, strong person, and she just committed to teaching Elena how to interpret this character and what that experience was like, and sat behind the monitor being like, that's not how you can move your arm. You need, she wouldn't do that. She wouldn't lift the tray like that. She wouldn't carry her hand that way. So it was just a constant eye on making sure that we were doing this accurately. And what I will say that's so important to all of us is that we knew we were going into a show portraying somebody with a disability. There's over 10 million people in the world living without limbs. We couldn't do this jokingly and just throw it together.
Right.
Also, we didn't want the show to become just, the show about the handless girl. We wanted you to get to know Minnow and love Minnow. And then I think eventually what will happen when you watch the show is you'll stop thinking about the fact that she doesn't have hands anymore. And it's like when I worked with Christy Sita, at first I would look at her stump, and I asked her a couple times, can I touch it? Because I hadn't ever been around somebody. It was a foreign thing to me, and it felt uncomfortable, and I didn't quite know how to behave. And I think that's how we are as a society. Yep. And over time, within such a short amount of time, that was just Christy, and Christy was gorgeous, and it didn't even occur to me to notice that one part of her more than any other part of her. And that's what I hope our show can really do for an audience. I really hope that that's what people take away.
Yeah, I love that. That's beautiful. And but it's true that with this first scene was just so powerful because it was graphic in that sense, where it was like, put your hands up, and those hands were not there. And then later on in the police station, where she's actually actually pulling the hands out of her pockets, that really is like right off the bat again, like, wow, this is Facebook Watch, this is Sacred Lies, like, okay, so what we're getting into.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts when you were seeing those scenes unravel?
I mean, as soon as they were like, we're gonna check your pockets for anything sharp, I was thinking, oh, okay, when she like screamed, I was thinking, oh, she had something sharp in her pocket.
Yeah.
So when she pulls out like a hand and then another hand, I was like, oh my gosh, you know. And I mean, are those her hands? I mean, she says they're her hands, but like, she also looked like they were somewhat healed. I didn't know if they're like how long ago she had lost her hands. I know we're gonna probably figure that out in episodes coming out, but it was just, yeah, all of that really kind of set the tone for the whole show. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I was so into it. I was like, what's gonna happen next?
Yeah, it was super jarring, especially I feel like we could all kind of relate to the sheriff in that situation because she's sort of like sympathizing with her and sort of like being really nice, questioning her, and then she kind of flips just because like that's it, like you said, it's very kind of grotesque, kind of gory, and I don't know, I thought that we could really relate to that character in that situation too because they're not pulling any punches. Like, they're showing it all. It's very, like, a grim fairy tale sort of situation.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. Like, cause a lot of people don't know, like, the grim fairy tales, like, they're real dark, though. You know what I mean? Like, like Disney and other movies have, like, really cutened up with, it's dark, man. There's a lot of stuff that you try to tell their kids back in the day to, like, scare the mess out of them. You know what I mean? So, like, I was like, pleasantly surprised when I was, like, right out the gate, you're like, no hands. And you're like, that's, like, in the grim stuff. You'd be like, it's grim. You know what I mean? So like I was just really like shocked to see that, but it was really awesome like to see like a seasoned cop to even like scream. You know what I mean? Because she was like, oh my god, like her hands are in her pocket.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was awesome.
And then during that whole scene, she's looking around, she's seeing the TV, all the noises, and there's this notion of, okay, well, she's been in a cult for a long time. This is a whole new world for her. And I thought that was so beautifully told. What kind of drove you to do that, to express that in that way?
We talked a lot in the writer's room about how to see the world through Minnow's eyes. This show really needed to take you inside of her experience because she is such an unusual, complex character. We wanted to make sure that you could really empathize and experience what she experienced. And she's been living out in the woods for a really long time. And we wanted to try to communicate that in a way that was visceral, that could get you on board with her journey for right from the first second. So yeah, we talked a lot about the sound design and how the show would work that way. And then Scott Wynett, our director, came in and interpreted that so beautifully.
Yeah.
And then our post-production team comes in with all of that noise and layers upon layers, you know, our sound designer, layers upon layers of all of that texture to the show that really, I hope, makes you be able to feel the way that she feels a little bit.
I think it definitely did that, and I felt I felt like I was her in that instance because you're thinking, okay, she's not used to hearing all these sounds. We hear like, you know, the coins in the vending machine. We hear like the fizziness of the drink.
Things we like take for granted.
Yeah, all of that kind of thing. And so immediately I put two and two together. I'm like, she is not used to this outside world. She's used to being with people and trees and nature, and that is it. So I can only imagine, not only is she like jarred into this new world, but she also has to deal with all of the sound and like obviously like the TV. She was like, no, it's too much sound, and it was just, the whole thing was very interesting. I love how you guys did that.
Yeah, and props to that actress, Elena, because she can convey so much with just her facial expressions and her body language. Like, she had so few lines at the beginning there, but I was like, I know exactly who this person is already.
Yeah,
just because she's so good at that sort of acting.
Yeah. What were your thoughts, Taylor, on that song that she was singing, Now I'm a Believer?
Yeah.
I thought that was so emotional, and I had never seen the song obviously sung in that way. Yeah, it was really tore my heartstrings.
Me too. And it's like, I didn't expect that to be what came out. I thought it would be, you know, some kind of more original song from her cult, but it's like a pop song.
I know.
And so that was a big surprise, and I thought that was really interesting. You never know which way the show's gonna go, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like it was a good tidbit into, this is her background with the cult, but you guys do a great job laying down, just like balancing certain information while laying down, you know, withholding information and then giving us tidbits about the mysteries ahead. How do you find that balance?
It's not easy because we only have 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So we have to think a lot about what do we need to push forward with plot, but never make it about plot, right? Because I think in order for the show to work, it always has to be coming from a place of character. It always has to be going from a place of you can relate to this person and what she's going through and be connected to her emotionally. So yeah, it was, was a lot of deconstructing and going, okay, this is what we need to move forward in this episode, but let's not push everything into an episode so that we can let you kind of be in moments that are quiet, or moments that aren't about a story point or plot point, but they're really about what's emotionally going on for her. And I think if you're making all your decisions from like what's emotional, what's going to make me feel something, then I feel like the plot stuff works itself out. That stuff is, the emotional arc has to be the front runner.
So much emotion here, especially when we move on to her heading into juvie. I thought that was it was, again, another scene when she steps in, where we see all the young women walking around and in the corridors. It just, not a lot is said, but so much is said. Yeah. And I thought that was so powerful. What were your first thoughts when you see her enter this new world?
I mean, right away, you mentioned this earlier. She comes from a cult, but then going into juvie, it's almost like a separate type of a cult. So it's like she's moving from one to another, and they're totally different. And just seeing her reaction of like, what is this? What is that? I'm not used to ever seeing a place where everyone's packed into all these little rooms like that. Right. And yeah, like you said, a lot was said just by her eyes.
And it's almost like there are little subcults or subgroups within like the juvie too.
Right.
Like these people are the Christian girls. These people, do this, do that. And so, yeah, it's interesting to draw those parallels of kind of where she comes from. It's so vastly different than where she is, but there's still those little parallels and connections.
Yeah, it just kind of took me back to when I was in high school, when everyone has like their own cliques and stuff like that. And it was just cool. It just kind of brought me back to see like how that is how it was. Like the jocks, I hang out with the jocks, the nerds with the nerds, like chess teams over here. So I just think it was interesting from a different perspective, you know what I mean? Like ladies like locked up in juvie, like they still are in their own separate cliques, and she was just kind of like taking it all in, you know what I mean? She's walking around just trying to get her bearings, still like processing everything that has happened in the last 24 hours. So I just thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. I've read that some people are making the comparison of this show. It has an aspect of like a teenage Orange is the New Black. Do you think that comparison is fair?
I love Orange is the New Black, so I would never be insulted by that at all. It's a great, amazing show. I think it is different because we're talking about children here. And the more you watch the show, I think that you'll see that these characters are little girls. In that way, the things they care about and the things that they're facing are slightly different. We don't, because we're only a half-hour show and we have such an intense mystery to cover, we don't actually sort of go off in individual stories with all of the girls inside of there the way Orange is the New Black does. I wish that we could, because they're so interesting and such great characters, and each one of them has a story that we tried to really make clear on the show, but the show's always really told from two perspectives, and that's Minnow's perspective and Dr. Wilson's perspective. So in that way, structurally, it's really different than Orange is the New Black, and then emotionally, it's really it's teens. I mean, there are in a given day like 150,000 kids locked up in this country. So they have their own very specific stories to tell.
Yeah. I love how you're saying there are the two perspectives, and it's Minnow and Dr. Wilson, because you can tell so much if it's only two people's perspectives. You can really dive into the story, find out their backgrounds and how they're going to work together to come to the place that they need to come to. And so I love that, because we're going to get so much more information packed in with those two.
Yeah. Agreed. And I can't wait to talk more about Dr. Wilson, but before we do, I want to talk about Angel. And she's her roommate, and she gives her the ropes and all these rules that there are in juvie. If someone calls you a Brittany, that means that they're claiming you and you're their being. There's that whole scene of them at the having lunch and her throwing all these rules was, again, super fast paced. These one-liners that were so rich. I really enjoyed it. Were you guys surprised that there were that many rules in juvie?
Yeah, I was like, oh my goodness. But the whole the Brittany thing was kind of funny, because you were talking like it's Brittany B, like, that I was like, wait a minute, is that? I just love that. So that was interesting, but it's crazy because you really want to know more about Angel, and she makes it pretty clear right away that she's not trying to help anyone or become a part of anyone's clique.
She's a loner,
Yeah, she's a loner, but you can kind of see her, even though she's very tough, she empathizes a little bit, and that's why she's telling her all these rules, so she's not just blindly coming in, not knowing what's
Absolutely.
what. Yeah, she's like like the Angel character is my favorite kind of character, I feel like, because she's so tough on the outside, but you can just tell that there's more in there. There's a softness to her. I love the little like sassy moments she has where she's like, I don't want a roommate, and the guard's like, does this look like the Marriott? Like that made me laugh so
You
hard.
have no choice here.
Honestly, I really, really am excited to see more of her because I think that she might be like my favorite character right now.
Yeah, everyone has like their own journey. We don't know her journey. We don't know why her exterior is so tough. She's in juvie, but like there's more to her. There's reasons why she's like that. But at the same time, she's still kind enough to let her show her the ropes. Because you like it's like that first day of school. Like you want to know what to do, what not to do, what teacher's cool, not to piss off. So it's really good to have like a person like that just kind of like show you how things go. So it was kind of cool.
Yeah, and she keeps saying that it's because she doesn't. She's saying that I'm gonna have to take care of you later down the road, so this is to protect myself. But I was seeing an underlying tone of like maybe you do want a buddy, and I feel like there's gonna be a bigger relationship here than just helping her out for her own gain. Evan, you agree?
Yeah, because it's like you don't like she's been in there for a little bit, and she knows the deal because she like we all want friends though. Let's be honest, like even like no matter what though, we all want somebody to even somebody to push around. You know, like regardless of what her motive is, I think it's kind of refreshing to see see her come in here like, okay, I can just kind of show this rookie the ropes, but but I can have a friend too. Maybe that's what her intentions are as well.
Yeah. And one of the main takeaways also is that she says that to survive here, you have to trade. Trade is the law of the land. If you want girls to be nice to you, you can also trade nail polish. But that is a big lesson. Trade is so important. That comes into play when we meet Detective Wilson.
Yes.
Dr. Wilson, who's also a detective through the FBI who does research.
He's not a detective.
He's not?
He's a forensic psychologist. Very different thing. Just want to clarify.
Great. Yeah. Okay, so he says that he works for the FBI
as a forensic psychologist.
As a forensic psychologist. Okay, cool, great. Well, thank you for letting us that. And that comes into play when he comes and he meets her, and he's asking for all this information, and I thought that was so smart how she looks at him. She goes, well, what are you training for this information? I was like, yes, she's learning. I was so proud of her. Were you excited, Taylor, when you saw?
Oh, for sure. I love how that kind of like weaved back in. I love it when things are kind of, the seeds are planted and then they come back just a couple minutes later. I thought that was really cool.
Because she could have easily been like, okay, here's the information, but thank goodness Angel told her that, because hopefully that will lessen her time, or like make her time there less. Hopefully she'll get parole.
Right.
Yeah, she kind of just got there though. It's not like she's not gonna just trust an outsider right off the bat. Like he dropping a lot of titles and stuff like that, but that really means nothing to her at the moment. You know what I mean? She's still like I said, processing her situation. So I think she's smart enough to like hear him out, see what's going on. But let's see what he got to offer before I just because I don't want to go spend 5 years in jail. So let me see what I can do.
Right, because what's at stake is this recommendation letter to help her get out of juvie. Earlier, at 18, she can ask for parole. So I hope that's going to go towards her favor. But again, it's just, I love how you guys are just building so much tension. Yeah. I really appreciate it because so much is at stake here. And I just love this show. I just have to say.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm glad you love it so much. I think what's so cool for me about that moment with Minnow, where she makes a deal with Wilson, is it shows us so much that she's a survivor, right? Mm-hmm. And how smart that she's listening to every detail and she's absorbing everything. And that really becomes a part of her character going forward. It sort of gives you a hint into she's no fool. She's watching everything. She's taking everything in. And also, you should be wondering whether you should trust her all the time too, because she's complicated. She's, she hasn't always done great things herself.
Yeah, and Dr. Wilson kind of mentions that too, because he says, "I think you know more than you're leading on with the whole Starburst scene." Yeah, she was just like, "I can't do it." And I love how he knows so much, but it also makes me question like, what are his intentions? How come he knows so much? I know it's his job, but. Am I wrong to think there's something fishy there? Do you feel that too,
there's
Taylor?
Something. I feel like there's something way more personal. He just seems to know her so well. It's like how and why, and it's got to be deeper than just I study colds. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean you can definitely tell that he's very good at his job. He might know more information because that's what he's done. He's researched those types of people. But yeah, there's like something behind his eyes that it's like he's not telling everything. He's got some agenda or he has some information that he's not letting on quite yet.
I got a pull for the brother in the show. You know what I mean? I can't turn my back on this so fast. Let me get a couple episodes in. Right now, I'm on his side. Right now, he's pure as intentions. His heart is pure. His heart's in the right place, and he's pulling for it. That's I'm gonna stick with that.
Okay, all right.
A couple weeks later, we'll see how I feel.
No spoilers from me. I'm not gonna take sides here.
Fair point. But it's quick, but we do see him on his car seat. He has a bottle of liquor that's going back and forth. So maybe studying cults is a tough job, but also drinking / having a bottle next to you while you're driving does not show that you're the most professional person, dare I say. I don't know, but we'll see more.
Open container.
Open container.
Don't try this at home, kids.
Don't do it.
Oh my gosh. Well, when it comes to a character like him who's so complex, and I feel like a lot of these characters have different layers, again, how do you find that balance of letting us